You're watching the Football Daily, and this is the top 10 deadliest derbies. Number 10. Dortmund vs Schalke. The battle for dominance in the Ruhr region of Germany is the spiritual hotbed of German football. Two massively and passionately supported clubs, both claiming to be the true club of the German people. The rivalry originally stems from a dispute between the miners of Schalke and the beer brewers of Dortmund. Number 9. Arsenal vs Spurs. The North London rivalry has escalated dramatically in recent decades. Perhaps best encompassed by the vitriolic treatment received by Sol Campbell after he left White Hart Lane to don the red of Arsenal. As Jack Wilshere's cheerleading demonstrated, it's a rivalry that means plenty to both fans and players alike on both sides. Number 8. Ajax vs Feyenoord. From the ports of Rotterdam, Feyenoord fans have always considered themselves to be the steely, tough, working-class club of Dutch football, unlike their soft, highfalutin rivals Ajax from the more salubrious Amsterdam. Although Ajax's trophy hall towers over that of Feyenoord, their fans are quick to defend their title as the real community club of the Netherlands. Number 7. Boca Juniors vs River Plate. Class, geography and style divide Argentina's capital Buenos Aires in the Superclasico. River's wealth and success in the early part of the 20th century earned them the nickname Los Millonarios and the contempt of their working-class rivals Boca. Clashes between the two clubs are played out against the backdrop of noise, colour and often violence in the stands. Number 6. Olympiakos vs Panathinaikos. The fiercest contest Greece has known since the Trojan War, the rivalry is yet another based on class and culture. Olympiakos hail from the working-class ports, while Panathinaikos reside in the more affluent Athens. Tension and violence are never far away when Greece's two most successful clubs meet. Olympiakos' recent dominance of the domestic league has only entrenched the bitterness further, although Panathinaikos do boast the title of being the only Greek side to reach a European Cup final. Number 5. West Ham vs Millwall. A rivalry which harkens back to the dark days of English football, the former East End of London neighbours aren't shy about expressing their dislike for one another. Injury, mass disorder and even death cast a long shadow over the fixture. According to the Metropolitan Police, it's the most dangerous fixture in English football. Number 4. Barcelona vs Real Madrid. In terms of history and quality, El Clasico is considered by many to be the pinnacle of footballing rivalries. The two biggest clubs in Spain from the two biggest cities. Real, the King's Club, and Barca representing Catalan nationalism, the fixture has come to define Spanish domestic football. The rivalry is perhaps best summed up by the iconic image of a pig's head being thrown at former Barca player Luis Figo after he made the switch to the Galacticos. Number 3. Roma vs Lazio. The Derby della Capitale is the only one on our list to take place in a shared stadium, but there's no brotherly love between these two clubs. The Italian capital is invariably covered in a cloud of smoke and hatred when these two meet. The fixture has been marred by decades of violence, racist abuse, rioting and death. Number 2. FENERBAHCE vs Galatasaray. The Intercontinental Derby sees two of Turkey's most successful clubs, Fenerbahce from the Asian part of Istanbul and Galatasaray from the European part of Istanbul, go head-to-head in a fixture tied up in racism, violence and murder. A fire that was only stoked further by Graham Souness's infamous contribution in 1996. Number 1. Celtic vs Rangers. The Old Firm derby is deeply rooted in history and represents not just the bitter sectarian divide in Glasgow, but also incorporates the complex issue of national identity and social ideology. Not just as simple as Catholic Celtic versus Protestant Rangers, the hostility between the two sets of supporters is notorious around the world. According to Paolo Di Canio, you could take all the derby matches in the world and put them together and they still wouldn't equal 1/1,000,000th of the Old Firm.